Hey everybody, this is Randall from Floribama Homestead, my wife, the camera lady Michelle, and today is day 2 of us planting our fall garden. What you just saw was me laying off the rows for turnips. And if you look, I got several little rows laid off. We're going to plant turnips over there. We're going to plant 2 short rows of Kohl Rabi since we've never planted that before. And that's going to be our trial to see how that does and see if we even like it. If you come over here to the table behind Michelle, you'll see what we're going to end up planting in our fall garden this year. And I got everything laid out. If you want to zoom the camera in, we'll show everybody what we're planting. We got Imperator carrots. They're going to go in our carrot bed, and I already have the rows laid off for that. Purple top turnips, that's going to go in the rows that you just saw us lay off. We got a few radishes we want to plant, fennel, a couple plants of fennel. There's our Kohl Rabi we're going to put in with our turnip bed. Just a couple of red giant mustard. And then over here in our salad garden bed, where we typically plant all of our salad garden, we're going to plant spinach, some kale, Great Lakes lettuce, black seeded Simpson lettuce, Bib lettuce, romaine lettuce. We're going to even try some iceberg lettuce this year, red salad bowl lettuce, and some ruby red lettuce. So that's what all we're going to end up planting in our fall garden. Now, if you watched us yesterday, we were out here planting. We were planting out our transplants of all of our Brussels sprouts, our broccoli, cauliflower, tree kale, and we got all that sowed, and that's in the garden. And we're going to grab a package of iceberg lettuce, and I'm going to come over here and some romaine, and we're going to demonstrate to you how we sow our lettuces. We had some ants right here in the bed, and Michelle put out some pyrethrin dust to control those ants and get them out of here. Don't worry, this is organic. This is not going to be anything that gets into our lettuces. We're going to end up ingesting poisons or anything. This is natural occurring pesticide. So for our iceberg, we got short rows laid off, and each one of these short rows we're going to do something different. Ends up we're going to have some extra. We're going to alternate and come back, and we'll plant little bits of this and that so that it's all mixed in. We don't have just a lot of one variety in one area. We like to mix it up and make it look somewhat uniform. So we took our rake, our garden rake, wherever that's at, I leaned it up over there, and we gently brushed back the dirt to lay off our rows. And we're only looking at 1/4 inch deep here. Lettuce, you barely want to cover up with dirt. So we just take our package of lettuce and we just sprinkle just a couple of seeds right along. Now as these come up, we're going to have to come back and we're going to thin these to the recommended distance, because you don't want any of your vegetable plants to be closer together than what's recommended on the package, because you just get a spindly little plant that puts off just a couple of leaves and it doesn't look good. You think you're going to get more and you won't. And so this is romaine. Sprinkle in some romaine. We're just doing a seed, 2 or 3 seeds per inch. We're not putting them thick at all. So that's how we plant our lettuces. And we're going to come back and we're going to do all of our lettuces like that. And then if you bring the camera in closer, I'm going to show you how we actually cover these seeds up. We just take our hand and we just lightly dust the dirt right over them, just enough to barely cover them up. Now we got rain coming in today and tomorrow, and we're still getting in the 80 degrees. It's about 80 degrees here right now. We're working towards fall, and so right now is the perfect time that if you live in zone 8, you should be out in your garden planting your lettuces. And if we can protect these from hard freeze, this will be the lettuce that's going to take us all the way through to the spring, to our spring garden. We're going to be able to eat off of this and harvest these lettuces all the way through the fall, through the winter, and even into the early spring. Now once it starts heating up in early spring, we pull these out and we go right back in with whatever it is we decide to plant next time. So that's how we plant our lettuces. Now if you'll come over here and I'm going to grab the Kohl Rabi. And it's the same thing for planting our Kohl Rabi. This is a purple Kohl Rabi. And I just ordered these off eBay, and there's 600 seed in that one little package. Best deal I could find. Couldn't find these at any seed supplier around here. They just don't carry this kind of stuff. And we're just going to sprinkle these right in. And we're going to try to plant these about an inch or so apart. And then we're going to come back and thin these in. I know you probably can't see the seed falling, but I'm trying to go as thin as I can. About one plant every inch apart is what we're going to end up with. We're planting them thicker than that right now, but as they come up, some seeds will end up deeper, some shallower, not optimal. So we're going to thin to the strongest plant at the recommended distance apart. And again, just like our lettuces, we're going to come in and just barely cover those up. We're only looking at about an eighth to a quarter of an inch deep for our Kohl Rabi. And in a couple of days, we'll come back out and we'll see these starting to pop the ground. And if you follow us on Facebook, I'll post updated pictures on Facebook all the time. Even if we don't do videos on what we're doing here at the homestead, we're always uploading pictures of how things progress. So you can find us on Facebook at Floribama Homestead and follow some of our updates. All right, Michelle, come on over. Let's do the carrots next. So I bought a pack of carrots. Imperator carrots, they've always done very well for us. We get very long carrots. And this is the very first bed that we constructed when we bought this place and we moved in. What you're looking at is just a thing of sheet metal. And the bottom half of it we filled with wood chips that we got from a tree trimming service for free, and just filled it up halfway with chips. And then we went and bought a truckload of dirt. And we went and bought a truckload of dirt, a topsoil, a sandy topsoil, and we put in right at the top. And it's really sandy, and the carrots do very well with this. It's very hard to compact, it's very loose. But there's some organic matter in there. We've added all of our kitchen scraps in here, eggshells. We've added chicken manure. About a month ago, we incorporated chicken manure in here. We've put in some compost. So over the course of the last 3 years, we've been building this dirt more and more. And we always do very well with our carrots here. But since over the course of 3 years, all of our wood chips have decomposed and shrank down. And so is our topsoil, which used to be up to here. Our topsoil now lands about right here. Eventually, we're going to come back. We're going to cut these beds down, and we're going to bring our beds down lower so it's easier for us to get over in here. But right now, going through the winter, we're going to leave the high sides on here in case we get a harder than expected freeze. We can come out here and cover this up and hopefully get through the hard freezes with our carrots and our beets that we're going to plant in here this year. So Imperator carrots, same thing as last time. We're going to come in and just lightly sprinkle right along the dirt, just like our lettuce. And then we'll just come back and we'll just lightly cover those up. We're still optimum temperatures, low between 70s and hitting 80 degrees. We're going to get rain, like I said, and we should see these carrots coming up in about 10 days. And we're going to come on the end, and we're going to come back and finish out this. You're not seeing the end result here. Now for our beets. beet is a much bigger seed. So we're going to plant these about every inch apart. Again, plant them a little bit thicker and then always come back and thin them out. I know the hardest thing in the world to do is come back and thin out your plants, but you're going to be better off with thin plants because you'll get a bigger root on there and stronger leaves. If you leave them in here too thick, you're not going to get a root. You're going to get just a spilly little plant with a few leaves on top, and it's not going to be what you're going for. You want to plant, or you want to thin to the recommended spacing. That's all out of that package. Come back, grab this package. Michelle eats the leaves off of this in her salad, and that's why she likes beets.
And juice.
I like the roots, and I like to pickle the roots, and that's what I like.
And the juice.
Michelle likes to juice the leaves also.
Oh.
Now the thing about beet seed is you'll get one seed, and I'll show you on the camera real close. One seed may actually have 2 seed in there, and you may get 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 plants out of one seed. So after these sprout, you're definitely going to have to come back and thin to the strongest plant that comes up out of that seed. So beets are one of the only ones that I know that does that. Maybe Swiss chard, which is also in the same family. All right. Now moving on, let's do our purple top turnips. All right, so we're back over here in our bed where we got our Kohl Rabi planted. We're going to finish out the rest of this bed in turnips. I don't have a seeding device that spaces all this out properly for me, but if you're doing this by hand and you don't have all the equipment that all the fancy gardeners have, you can just pour them straight from the package, thinly, and then come back again and space to the recommended distance. And I know you can't see me putting these down, but I'm putting these seeds really close apart. But we're going to have to come back and we're going to thin these just like we do with everything else. If you buy seed in bulk, I paid for all these turnip seed, I think I paid 50 cents for all these seed. And if you're planting just a small garden like this, don't worry about spending the money, you know, $100 on a proper seeder or anything like that. Seed's cheap when you buy them in bulk. You can just always come back and hand weed them. And while you're down here, you could probably just thin out the grass and the weeds that are coming right along with it. So it helps you get down and personal with your plants. If you're always in here and you're always weeding and spacing, and you seem to pay more attention and get a better plant out of it. That's how we do our turnips. So everything that we're planting in our fall garden is pretty much planted at the same depth. We're going to come back and we're going to thin to the recommended distance. But we just gave you an overview of everything that we're going to be planting for our fall garden. Our fall garden is bigger than our spring garden, I think. Even though we come in and we plant peppers and tomatoes and you know, that type of stuff, our largest variety of our garden is probably our fall garden, where we're working towards our cooler months when we get our cool vegetables. That's probably the biggest thing that we put in our freezer to preserve us for the entire year. So if you have any questions, leave us a comment, and if this is your first time watching our channel, hit the subscribe button and follow along as we bring content to you. So thanks for watching. We're going to give you an update later on.